Hi. The last time I was dealing with this book, Recovering Biblical Manhood and Womanhood, from the first chapter, John Piper's overview chapter, he gave a definition of godly men and of women. So this time we're going to read his definition, non-exhaustive definition of mature women, godly women. It reads, "At the heart of mature femininity is a freeing disposition to affirm, receive, and nurture strength and leadership from worthy men in ways appropriate to a woman's differing relationships." So like the definition of men, he breaks all the expressions, all these phrases up and gives comments on them. So I wanted to read a couple of the comments that he made on specific portions of this definition. First, he says, "It is plain that when we talk of femininity, we must make careful distinctions between distortions and God's original design. Mature femininity refers not to what sin has made of womanhood or what popular opinion makes of it, but what God willed for it to be at its best." So I'm zooming in on the phrase, "is a freeing disposition." So here's some of his comments. "A wife's submission would take different forms depending on the quality of a husband's leadership. This can be seen best if we define submission not in terms of specific behaviors, but as a disposition to yield to the husband's authority and an inclination to follow his leadership. This is important to do because no submission of one human being to another is absolute. The husband does not replace Christ as the woman's supreme authority. But even when a Christian wife may have to stand with Christ against the sinful will of her husband, she can still have a spirit of submission, a disposition to yield. She can show by her attitude and behavior that she does not like resisting his will, and that she longs for him to forsake sin and lead in righteousness, so that her disposition to honor him as head can again produce harmony. The disposition of mature femininity is experienced as freeing. This is because it accords with the truth of God's purpose in creation. It is the truth that frees. There are sensations of unbounded independence that are not true freedom, because they deny truth and are destined for calamity. For example, two women may jump from an airplane and experience the thrilling freedom of free falling. But there is a difference. One is encumbered by a parachute on her back, and the other is free from this burden. Which person is most free? The one without the parachute feels free, even freer, since she does not feel the constraints of the parachute straps. But she is not truly free. She is in bondage to the force of gravity and to the deception that all is well, because she feels unencumbered. This false sense of freedom is in fact bondage to calamity, which is sure to happen after a fleeting moment of pleasure. So now going back to away from the illustration, which I thought was a good one. She seeks it by being transformed, freedom, in the renewal of her desires to fit in with God's perfect will. The greatest freedom is found in being so changed by God's Spirit that you can do what you love to do and know that it conforms to the design of God and leads to life and glory. God does not intend for women to be squelched or cramped or frustrated, but neither does he intend for women to do whatever seems to remove these feelings without regard to the appropriateness of the action. Sometimes freedom comes from outward changes in circumstances. Sometimes it comes from inward changes of the heart and mind. Therefore, true freedom is not giving in to our every impulse. It is sometimes painful and exhilarating discovery of God's power to fight free from the bondage of our sinful selves. I believe that the femininity of which God calls women is the path of freedom for every woman. It will not look the same in every woman, but it will lay responsibilities on all women in the same way that mature masculinity lays responsibility on all men. Some of these we express very naturally. Others of them we must grow into by prayer and faith and practice. He also used the phrase to affirm, receive, and nurture strength and leadership from worthy men. So these are some comments he made regarding that. Receive means that mature femininity feels natural and glad to accept the strength and leadership of worthy men. A mature woman is glad when a respectful, caring, upright man offers sensitive strength and provides a pattern of appropriate initiatives in their relationship. She does not want to reverse these roles. She is glad when he is not passive. She feels herself enhanced and honored and freed by his caring strength and servant leadership. Nurture means that a mature woman senses a responsibility not merely to receive, but to nurture and strengthen the resources of masculinity. She is to be his partner and assistant. She joins in the act of strength and shares in the process of leadership. She is, as Genesis 2:18 says, a helper suitable for him. This may sound paradoxical, that she strengthens the strength she receives, and that she refines and extends the leadership she looks for, but it is not contradictory or unintelligible. There are strengths and insights that women bring to a relationship that are not brought by men. I do not mean to imply, by my definition of femininity, that women are merely recipients in relation to men. Mature women bring nurturing strengths and insights that make men stronger and wiser, and that make the relationship richer. So those were the comments that I found helpful to me. I liked the expressions that he used, disposition of the woman. Instead of giving you a list of rules about the do's and don'ts. And I think he expresses well why this will work for harmony and even freedom or contentment in God's design for the relationship between men and women. I'm going to link to a video that I did when I was reviewing Lewis's book, Four Loves. This one is entitled, What does family headship imply? Submission, domination, complementarity, different accountability? Those were all questions.